tour alone or in a group? What do you think is the best way to do it? Stay tuned to find out. Greetings riders, Nick here with Pegasus Motorcycle Tours and Consulting, coming to you from Palomar Mountain. This is one of the highest, most beautiful and visited peaks in San Diego County. Very popular with riders simply due to these amazing views and also for its curves, both asphalt and dirt. I'm out here the first weekend after the stay-at-home order was partially lifted in Southern California to test the newest acquisition. This is a 2003 BMW GS 650, and so far I've been pleasantly surprised at what it can do. Please stay tuned for a more detailed review of this particular bike. The reason for this video is a tragedy. 2 weekends ago, a gentleman by the name of Bobby Camou went out in the Otay Mountains around his 49th birthday to celebrate it, I suppose, like a true rider would. When he failed to return that Saturday, his daughter posted an announcement on our local Facebook message board. Immediately, search parties were organized, about 50 strong, with infrared cameras and helicopters, until 4 days later when his body was recovered. Otay Mountain is a very popular destination for ADV touring. It borders Mexico and has amazing views into Tijuana and across into the coast. I did not know personally Bobby Camou, but according to his friends and family, he was a very avid ADV rider, very capable rider, one in excellent physical conditioning to undertake a solo tour like that. The newscasters and the local sheriff's deputies immediately came out warning that we in the ADV community should never tour alone. We should always be in a group. And I found it very necessary to make this video and to begin this conversation with you and also learn from you on your opinions about what should be the proper way to tour, in a group or alone. As reasonable as that advice most certainly is, I respectfully have to disagree, and I would be a hypocrite if I said that you should always ride in a group. In my experiences living on the road over the past decades, the essence of ADV touring, and to some extent the essence of motorcycling, is profoundly individual. What makes ADV touring so valuable is precisely the personal growth that it facilitates, something that can only be achieved when one learns to live on the road solo, to enjoy his or her own company, to know how to be alone with his thoughts in the helmet, for it is only in those moments of solitude that one can learn to think clearly. ADV touring also forces one to be proficient in maintenance, in camping and planning, organization, etc. It forces one to learn to be autonomous and self-sufficient, reliable and resilient, healthy, strong, disciplined, and alert. It also teaches diplomacy and tact when interacting with people, simply because poor decisions rarely go unpunished in the ADV lifestyle. But perhaps most importantly, what solo ADV touring allows for is for you to develop an incredibly intimate relationship with nature. When you are so related with nature, it allows a sense of communication that otherwise would not be possible, I think, when there's more noise and distractions. It's fair to argue that nature and views like these are the reasons why people like us venture so far from the familiar and the comfortable. To be able to commune with nature is something so valuable, especially nowadays with our busy lifestyles, and ADV touring really allows for that. There are experiences that only present themselves to the individual, for which even two would be a crowd. A group of bikers can be intimidating to strangers, whereas a solo rider invites, and is the embodiment of adventure and intrigue. You can feel this. Roll into any town, dusty, bruised, and smiling from your adventures. You need not even speak the language, and feel the envious eyes of the men and the curious stares of the women. How they long to hear the story of this intriguing stranger, maybe even to summon up the courage to be a part of it for one night at least. And why not? Tonight you're here, but after a little unexpected infusion of adventure, by dawn you'll be gone, far away without a trace. Yes, there were times where I wanted to share my experiences. I was dying to share it with my closest And in some ways, this YouTube channel allows me to reach back into the archive of the footage and share it with you, and also to expand my knowledge about the ADV lifestyle. But there is a caveat to this. Not everybody is prepared to adventure tour solo. Maybe you're utterly unprepared for a solo tour. Maybe you haven't devoted it the time and effort it requires to prepare for the trip. Maybe your nature's too explosive, too ungrounded, too irresponsible, too emotional to undertake something like this alone. Maybe you're prone to foolish decisions, or maybe your destination is simply dangerous and there would be safety numbers perhaps. At least groups can share knowledge and tools and spare parts, or offer assistance and call for help. In that case, only a damn fool would ride alone. But I believe that ADV touring is ultimately a solo endeavor. And this channel and my company, Pegasus Motorcycle Tours, is dedicated to helping solo riders achieve that goal. If not solo, then small private groups of riders that know each other well and like each other's company. This is key. Please consider that maybe your best friend, as much as you like the guy, may not be the right person to take on a long adventure touring odyssey. Traveling with a close friend is very, very different than when you are actually relating to them day to day. Because when you're traveling and camping together, you spend a lot more time together. And there's much more potentiality of you guys or gals getting into conflict. So for that reason, I really prefer to travel solo. I get to decide where I go, when I stay, when I take a break, when I eat, whom I talk to, whom I meet, who I go with, etc. All of that is on the fly, no schedule to keep, nobody's peculiarities to consider. And for me, that's the way to go. And I believe truly and sincerely that ADV riding, in essence, ought to be solo adventure touring. Whether you ought to ride solo is ultimately a decision only you can be responsible for, so best be wise about it. This isn't to say that you need to engage in unnecessary risk. There are tools today that help you stay in touch and contact assistance in case of emergencies. Products like Spot GPS Emergency Locator and Garmin InReach. These are all services with a monthly membership that really give you a peace of mind, and all those who really want to know where you are sleeping that night and that you are safe. At the very least, tell someone where you're going. Leave a map on your computer if it's just an extended weekend trip. And be also sure that the person you're telling is somebody that knows how to handle this information. In case that you don't return exactly on the hour promised, maybe it's not proper to immediately call police. I've lived through both of these scenarios, and it's not fun being searched for when all that happened is a gate was closed that prompted you to extend your trip a little further. In a future video, I discuss my emergency kit, along with a few indispensable items I carry on my person at all times when I'm adventure touring, such as a whistle, dog tags with my information, a tourniquet, etc. Preparation and practice are vital in ADV touring. Unfortunately, it seems very unlikely that any of these gadgets would have been of help to Robert Camou. As his daughter really touchingly wrote in the ADV community, on that fated Saturday, Bobby laid down his beta motorcycle on the side very gently and placed his gloves inside the helmet and hung it from the handlebars and found some shade. And enjoying the magnificent views of the Otay Mesas under this divine California sunshine, Roberto Camou gave his last breath as his heart simply gave out. I have included a GoFundMe page that was created by his friends to assist Roberto's family during this difficult time. You can find it in the description of this video should you feel so inclined to donate and support. Whether you are supremely religious or not at all, I believe you'll agree with me that views like these and the lifestyle that solo ADV touring allows for sometimes is simply beyond words. Every ride is a gift, and it's very important to never lose sight of that. Tomorrow is not a promised day. In fact, just on the ride up here, I witnessed an accident so violent between a semi and a Mustang. It's a miracle that there were any survivors. That said, I'd like to ask you to do me a favor. In fact, do yourself this favor and pick up your phone and dial your old man, if he's still around. say hello, see how he's doing. For some, like Bobby's kids, it appears they had a beautiful, lovely, amazing, wonderful relationship with their father. For others, it might, require some extra courage to do this. Perhaps our motorcycling lifestyle being so dangerous and selfish to some extent is a big middle finger to all those men who might have made our lives so much more difficult than they needed to be. Nonetheless, their blood runs through our veins. All we can do is forgive and forget and try to move forward for our own sake. So I did not know Bobby, but I believe that we would have gotten along very, very well. May he rest in peace and may his family find peace. This video is dedicated to all those who in this tragic COVID-19 pandemic have lost someone and have been robbed of the opportunity to say their proper farewells. Thank you for watching. Ride safe. Until next time. Nick, I'm out.